created an artwork about wind. And generally in my art, I have worked with wind before, and I'm very interested in meteorology and as well as literature. So I consider my art more of a piece of research, like it's a visual piece of research. So I do my research is really extensive and it's deep, and the result is a visual piece. And through that piece, I like to teach people something. So I like to share my research with people through my art. So I have worked with wind before, and wind in the context of my culture. And when I came here to Baku, something that really caught my attention is that one of the names of Baku is Baku Bay, which is the city of wind. So I couldn't escape the desire of wanting to see wind in this context, and especially that it's something I'm passionate about. As I experienced wind, it was really very windy for me because I come from Dubai, where wind is rare. That's why in my culture, wind is very appreciated. It's something always positive because it's rare. So it was interesting that when I came here, and wind is something like every day, you don't see people having that connection with wind, or it's just something that can be annoying sometimes to them. So as I researched more about poetry, like wherever I could find wind in literature, and after my visit to the folk center here in the old city, I've learned that wind is portrayed as in 3 different scenarios. So I'll explain the scenarios as you move through my exhibition. In some of the poems and in the culture itself, and this is something that is in common with my culture, wind is seen as a messenger, as a mediator. So for example, when you're far from someone and you want to communicate, there is no tool of communication. So people in history, they trusted wind. Why? Because wind moves clouds, like it moves clouds, it moves things. So they trust that me and the other person were breathing the same air. So wind will move my words, will move my message to that person. In many poems, and even in my culture, you would see the poet telling the wind, tell this to my lover, or tell this to my family. So as you enter the exhibition, you will see my pieces of fabric that guide you to the first floor. So wind acts as a guiding force to guide you to your destination. So this is one part of literature. The other context where wind is present is it's specifically in the old Turkic mythologies. Like it's very old, prehistory. Wind was mostly seen. Now I'm talking about Azerbaijan. Wind was mostly seen as something negative, as something that would destroy. Something that would destroy anything beautiful. It would kidnap a girl. Like there were stories actually about this. Wind destroys the crops, it destroys the fields of wheat. It kidnaps a girl and never brings her back to her family. And this is this room. The destructive wind is portrayed in this room. Finally, in the 7th century, there was a genre of poetry that became popular, and it is specifically about Nowruz. So I know that Nowruz is a public holiday. It's an important part of the Azerbaijani culture, and it features the 4 elements, and wind is one of the elements. So on the Wind Tuesday, there's also a Tuesday. Out of the 4 elements, wind is known as the one that awakens nature. So it awakens the other 3 elements. So it gives birth to something. And that's my 3rd room, where you see something. It's giving birth. So my exhibition, Mediator, Destroyer, Reviver, we're talking about the same thing, the same element in 3 different scenarios. And I'm using the same materials, but I'm trying to show 3 different things.